Rob and Slim Show, we're back with Brian Brawdy.
Gentlemen, how are you?
Good, how you doing, Brian?
Right. I'm doing good.
What was it, after we last talked, you said the doctors decided you needed another surgery, right?
Yeah, it's been an interesting month. They decided, right, and it cost me a relationship with quite a few people because I was busy making fun of the medical profession, but they decided that they had been wrong all along. The brain shunt wasn't going to do it, so here in a couple of weeks, I'm heading back in for my 5th brain surgery in the last 2.5 years. So all fun.
Fuck, how long does it normally take to recover from one of those?
Well, that's a great question, Rob. And I had asked around that apparently after the first surgery, I slept for a month.
Wow. Did you wake up or were you just out?
Well, you know what? I must have, although I don't remember much.
Yeah.
They, would wake you up all the time in the hospital to see if you're here, you're there, see what you know what's going on. But the recovery period was quite extensive because I think the first surgery was 11 and a half hours.
Oh, my God.
So it's really something. And then so today I had to go in because they want all these preliminary tests, right? Because they figured, well, if your brain's been open to air 5 times in 2.5 years, that's pretty much nature's kill shot in any other language.
Wow.
So they're putting me through all these preliminary tests to make sure that I'm going to withstand it. And I said, today they said, well, are you having any difficulty? And I said, well, my difficulty is in listening to the doctors.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be in this position.
I couldn't handle it.
Right?
Yeah, I don't even like getting blood drawn. I start turning white, and they're like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Well, it's the 3rd fucking vial of blood you're taking," and I feel like my whole arm is collapsing. Like, oh my God, wow.
Oh, you'd have loved my last one, brother. They took 18 vials, some of which had to be taken in darkness. Like they killed all the lights in the room because some of the blood tests apparently, and I don't know which ones, but some of them had to be drawn because ultraviolet rays would affect the outcome.
Wow.
So they've done everything they could. And like the doctor said this morning, he's like, you're 58 years old. Yes. You're taking the medication for your heart, for your lungs, for your kidneys, for this, that. I don't so much as take an aspirin.
Wow.
So it's always weird because they go, well, you're in perfect health. Yeah. Except for the hole in your head.
Oh,
right?
jeez. What was it, though, from swelling? Is that why the shunt they thought was going to, stop that, and it just didn't?
Yeah. Wow. It did. And what they theorize now is that the shunt on full vacuum mode wasn't able to beat it because the hole was too big. So there was nothing that the shunt was going to be able to do. And it's funny, guys, because when I was at the MRI a couple of weeks back, and the doctor said, "Oh yeah, we found the hole." So there's no question now that they've identified the hole where it is, but they're going to go into the original wound and they're going to tear out everything and start over.
I didn't even think of too, like when you said it too, like the brain just can't be exposed to air. I never even thought of that as like a factor. Wow.
Yeah, I guess what they say is it's great if you get oxygen through your lungs, but whenever your brain is exposed to air, it's used to being in a closed system, right, guys? It's used to being within the dura, within the spinal column.
Yeah.
So it's not accustomed to being exposed. And anything over 2 hours, they're like, look, he could vapor lock right here on the table.
What?
So it ups the ante a little bit. And you know me, guys. It's like, look, someone said to me the other day, you don't seem afraid of this at all. And I go, look, if whatever your definition of the divine or the universe or fate, whatever it is, if it decides to stamp your passport for the next gig, I'm not the kind of guy that's going to hide under the table in customs and go pick somebody else. Right?
Yeah.
So whatever comes of it is exactly what's meant to be.
What do they have to do? Do they have to break the skull, to go in there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why I call it the Columbus Cranium Shack and Dremel Hut. They use a Dremel, which only scores points with my in-laws, right? Because they're all medical doctors, which is why they all hate me now, because I go, yeah, I'm heading over to the Drug Cut and Needle Emporium, which they don't like that. They hate me. They hate me. I have my wife taste my food at family reunions because I think my in-laws are trying to cat me. I really do.
You got a taster. I like that. I like that.
Yeah. Actually, taste all my food for me. Oh, would you like a cruller? Who made it? Oh, these. Oh no, thank you. I'm good. Try to watch what I eat. Try to cut back on the calories.
But this is
the chloroform.
It's this Saturday, right, Bryan? On IPM. Is it IPMNation.com/the Bry?
Yeah, you know what? And Rob, I got to tell you guys, thank you so much, Rob, for thinking of it. But yeah, IPM is going to do the 13-hour on the 13th from 11 a.m. Eastern till midnight. All show hosts, all cool guests, all things on IPMNation.com. And they're going to do a radio. It's going to be video broadcast and everything else, all to kind of draw attention to what another great friend of mine started called the Bryan Brain Trust, which is trying to help a little bit in terms of if I am out for a month or 2 months or 3 months, just making sure my kids are taken care of. And, so they're doing a whole GoFundMe thing.
It's a great cause.
And it's been great, right? Like, I think we're a quarter of the way there already.
Wow.
So everyone, and you know what's, if I could just kind of like this whole thing has been personal, but kind of like a personal aside, guys, there's people I've never even met before. Go, yeah, we don't want you going through this, and threw me $500.
That's amazing.
There's people from all walks of life, and the people that you're tight with that you think, oh, you can count. Yeah, I don't hear nothing from them.
Yeah,
but complete strangers.
Yes.
So when everyone wants to bitch about humanity, when everyone wants to say people suck, and they want to, they want to divide everybody, and they want to start this war and that war. I'm so humbled and so impressed by just cool strangers.
Yes.
I can't even tell you. It's really just something else.
You really see the best in people, too, in that kind of a situation. Like, you really do.
It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know them. We're not even friends on Facebook. I mean, there'd be no interest other than just trying to be cool. So it's very humbling. It rekindles my faith in that, regardless of where you're from, you can be family to people. And when your own family isn't all that fired up about you, but you meet complete strangers that go, yeah, man, we'll help. We'll watch your back while you're on a knee.
Are you hosting?
It's just really something else.
Are you hosting the entire 13 hours, Bryan?
Well, here's the thing. I'm kicking it off with Matt at 11 a.m., and I'm supposed to close it, but we're going to wait and see because most of the people around me are betting against me being able to stay. I've done the 24-hour marathons. I've done other things like that before, but this will represent the first time that I've tried to stay awake for 13 hours because once the swelling kicks in...
This I didn't know.
It's just... right? Like, I'll walk into a room and go, I never knew that couch. When did you change the couch? And they're like, couch has been there all along, jackass. So my situational awareness really fades.
That's why I didn't know if other hosts were coming in to take a little bit of it or if it was like a handoff type of thing. But I know you guys got Alan Clark. I was excited to see that. He's a great guy. He's from Potential Problems podcast. And he's live on IPM too.
And, I can't wait because a lot of these people, some I've met before, others I haven't. And even though it's a fundraiser, even all those other things, I really am thrilled, guys, to be learning. And I say this all the time. I've learned so much from you all that I'm like doing sound effects now. I'm actually thinking about writing some copy. I put some research into the crap that comes out of my mouth. So I'm really looking forward to Saturday. If the surgery doesn't kill me, I'm looking forward to implementing the stuff that I learned from like you all and from Alan and Sean is coming on who does this conspiracy theory thing. And I've got all kinds of shows from all walks of life. And it just reminds me that I need to get better once I get out of the woods.
There's a lot of shows on IPM. How many? Like 300 altogether, right?
Isn't it amazing how quickly it's grown? There's 3 channels now.
I'm also always shocked we're in the top 10. Like, it's just like, wow, yeah, there's that many channels on there. Yeah, like you said, 3 channels of live, and we're constantly in the top 10. It's like, wow, we're okay.
Yeah, but you guys put a lot of effort into your show, right? And that's one of the things that I've learned from you all is that it doesn't hurt to plan a little, right?
You
like,
should
I'll
call
go downstairs and turn on the microphone and go, all right, what are we going to talk about today? But after having met you guys and see everything that you put into it, I'm like, look, Nancy, you got to bring a little bit of effort to the table. So I really have learned a lot from you guys.
You should call that Christian station that turned you away live on Saturday and just ream them out. Yeah. Just tear them apart.
Well, let me just say that their attorneys have asked me not to say that it was 103.5 The River. So no matter what you do, you will not get it. Oh, I got something else to tell you. So forget the whole thing about 103.5 The River in New Albany, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio. Never said it. Never heard it from me. As much as Slim tried to get it out of me, I never said 103.5 The River.
I'm reading it it was just written down in a notebook. I'm reading it right now.
Right. I never said it. I don't know what it. That's the nice thing.
I think that was just one of those things that popped into Rob's head, and he wrote it down real quick.
I had a side note.
Yeah. I'm going to miss the amnesia guys if they ever fix me, because I get away with more stuff now that people going, did you just say that? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't really know. I'm going to miss it. I really am. So here's the thing. I do the mortal up, which was my way of saying, no matter what the universe throws at me, I'm going to mortal up. Because if you look at guys like Ernest Shackleton, what he did in Antarctica, Lewis, just anyone that you admire, and they go, man, they really brought some kind of superhuman ability to do this. So I have Mortal Up, right, is a way of getting to the website, mortalup.com. So I had it printed on signs, and I put it on a stick. So now when the doctors say, look, we'd like you to go out for a walk, I walk with my sign that says mortalup.com. Right?
Awesome.
And I'm walking down the road like I'm a moving picket line.
Yes.
But it's just, that's all it's on there is mortalup.com. Well, today, in the People's Republic of New Albany, Ohio, the police pull up. They go, what are you doing? I go, I'm going for a walk. And they go, what do you got in your hand? I go, well, that's my sign. It says mortalup.com. They go, we can read it. Did you know there's a law? You're not allowed to walk on the streets of the People's Republic of New Albany.
Jesus.
You're not allowed to walk down the street with a sign.
What?
That sounds like some old, like 1800s, like law.
So could you just be wearing a T-shirt?
Not a T-shirt, yeah. That's the same thing.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
Well, see, that's the part of the brain damage. One would have thought, Bryan, why didn't you just invest in the money on the T-shirt? Why'd you have to get yard signs? Right? So now I'm ordering going, I need T-shirts. That. Right? I'm going to prove it to them. So you cannot walk down a sidewalk.
Yeah.
So forget what everyone said. Oh, you have a constitutionally protected amendment to protect free speech and freedom of the press and freedom of the assembly. Yeah, until you get to the People's Republic of New Albany, Ohio, and you want to walk down the street with a street sign.
If you're going to do it again, please go down with, like, knuckler signs. Like the knuckler.
What's knuckler sign? Yes. Well, that's what I said to the one lady. He was really kind of nice. I said, well, if we could make a time and a date for me to do it, and you could get a patrolman to arrest me, and I'll get someone to film it, that's a viral video.
Yes.
More to draw more attention to mortalup.com than any of the silly stuff I can come up with.
Yes.
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
Well, how did she respond to that?
New York cop, brain tumor survivor, arrested for carrying a road sign.
Bryan, how did she respond to that?
Yeah, she goes, let's not videotape that. She goes, our patrolmen aren't going to throw you up against a car. And I go, well, you haven't known me very long. I can be irritating.
I can make them. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. Like, I'm going to make you throw me, bro.
So, Bryan, is the law literally like you can't carry a sign, or is it like you can't advertise?
I guess
the law is you cannot carry a sign, and this is the exact wording. You cannot carry a sign that's built to be transportable.
You gotta get a big. You gotta get a big, like heavy, like billboard.
Yeah, this was. I put it on wheels, but it wasn't supposed to be transportable.
That is some communist bullshit right there.
So, guys, what if I wore it like a barrel? Like, what if I wore like a pair of boxers, and I had one sign down the front of me, one sign down the back of me, but I wore it as like apparel? She goes, well, it's still a sign designed for transport. And I go, yeah, I can see this going to court.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in that little room right there with the
fine
judge's
line.
bench. I feel it coming.
That's
right?
literally what a T-shirt is. It's a
yeah, advertising. Rick and Morty. Fucking.
So there is basically that
He's got a job on his.
That law means they can arrest anybody who's wearing a T-shirt that advertises
that has
something
a logo,
or a logo.
a Nike swoosh. Yeah, like wow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's...
So I've been busy all afternoon. I knew I was going to hang with you guys for a little bit. I've been busy all afternoon with a map of the city of New Albany, and I'm literally going to stand 2 feet from the New Albany line, and then I'm going to do that little shuffle thing.
You got to go back and forth.
I'm out of New Albany.
Yeah.
And when I shuffle in, the sign's going to go down. When I shuffle back, the sign's going to go up. So I'm going to catch you. If you live in New Albany and you're listening, I'm going to catch you with this sign because I'll find every avenue in and out of New Albany.
Stand right outside of the
I will
border,
be
too,
there.
just holding it up. Just loud and proud.
Yeah.
Love
Loud
it.
and proud, exactly. Right outside the border. And then when the New Albany cops come, I'll go, oh, here's the map. Sorry, you're out of your jurisdiction. So I can't wait. I mean, I'm like, I don't know if I'll sleep tonight. I'm so excited about this. I mean, so I should probably send you a text.
Yeah.
If I end up in jail, maybe you could consider like a bail, a GoFundMe for bail as opposed to a brain surgery. But that's my new goal before they cut me, to see how far I can push the laws in New Albany, Ohio.
I would.
Unbelievable.
What, Brian, when you,
It's built.
do you do your show out of your house? Mortal Up?
I'm sorry?
Do you do it out of your home?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do. I had the basement redone to be the radio studio. So
Cool.
I do that out of the house.
Did you do it before IPM or did you start on IPM?
I started on IPM. IPM Nation somehow found me a few years back, and they said, hey, did you ever consider radio? And I said, well, I have a face for radio, but I make my living on TV. And they're like, well, did you ever think about going on radio and doing the shtick? And I said, no, I hadn't. And they offered me a gig, and I said, well, I'll take the gig, but it has to be the worst time slot you have. I want, like, the least popular time slot. And I remember meeting with Matt, and he goes, why would you want the least?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I plan on being number one, but if you cherry pick a time slot, everyone's going to say, oh, you're number one because they gave you a cherry time slot.
That's what I did. I was like, Matt, I want afternoon drives and morning drives. That's the first thing I said to him, and he was like, all right. Like, I know what slots I wanted.
I had no clue. And he says, okay, so 6 a.m. Eastern. I go, done. I'll take it. And I had done 100 or more shows before they found the brain tumor. So
okay,
you could say either A, the brain tumor, right? I used to be able to say the shunt's talking, but now that they've pulled that out. So, yeah, I've had a really lucky run by just being nuts. And for some reason, people listen to my form of mental illness. And so that's why I'm still here.
That's all our shows are: mental illness, alcohol, and caffeine.
No, you guys are great. You guys are great. And I have to tell you, and I don't know if I can mention it again, when you said the word knuckler, just between you and me, if I'm not supposed to say anything, then just in code, no, that's the first time I've ever done anything like that.
Cool.
We're very open to that you did that for
You
us.
killed it too, Brian. You asked me a couple times if you wanted me to read, if I wanted you to redo them. I'm like, no, they're fucking perfect. They're great. They really were.
Now, you were talking about what I did, not so much the prostate exam, right? Just so we're clear as to what I've never done before.
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay.
Yes.
I can tell from that laugh we're on the same page. All right, good enough.
Not glad.
So you got to let me know when it's gonna when that's gonna premiere, because I'll make sure to.
It did.
I'll make sure. What?
We did it earlier. We already did it, but it will be up. It'll be up on our full show on like by Friday or Saturday, and then it'll be on YouTube like by the
Monday,
beginning
Tuesday,
of next week.
usually,
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So yeah,
cool. Well, thank you. It was my first ever, so thank you.
That's awesome.
And you should know I bought a new microphone and everything just for
just
that.
for the nugget.
Cool.
Thank you, Brian.
It was a great. So you played the Finger Blaster's brother, and there was a great contrast. The two characters.
Good. Well, I also recorded some bonus material, Slim. As I said to Rob, I threw some bonus material in there because when you're a couple quarts of brain fluid low, you have really wild dreams.
We played it, Brian.
Oh, did you play? Oh my! See. Now I'm really going to have my food tested. Yeah, you have really wild dreams. I'm like, Rob will understand. Slim will let it go. I'll just record this.
Do you have those a lot, Brian? Because that dream is gnarly.
No, thank goodness, because I'd probably be a serial killer if I did. But it just so happened that morning I knew I was going to do it. And I go, the boys will like this. I just threw it in, but it was like a weird dream. And it comes from being a couple quarts low.
Dreams could be so whacked out when they seem so real. You wake up, you're just panicked. Like they're freaky. Yep. They're freaky. I had one once that I was being held, like I was captured, and the people made me like skin my stomach, like, and I had to cut my stomach off, and I couldn't get like the last piece. You know, I like skin hangs, and like that little piece, and I didn't have the strength, but I forced myself to, and I was cutting myself. I was like slicing myself so they could like eat me, so they could store the meat and then like eat me. Like it's fucked up. It was fucking crazy.
Dude,
okay, so I don't have dreams nearly that nuts, But I will tell you, this guy. Oh, is that an alarm telling you it's time for me to go?
No, that was the bell.
No, okay. So the very first time I was in the hospital, they decided to give me morphine. So when you talk about really weird dreams, they decided to give me morphine and go through the surgery. I come out of the surgery, and I think I'm having a very Procrustean dream where, you remember from the Greek myth, the guy saws your legs off or he stretches you out to make sure you fit the right size bed, right? So he's always abducting people and he's sawing off their legs. Well, they didn't know this at the time, Slim, but I was allergic to morphine. I'm allergic to morphine.
Oh, wow.
So they give me the morphine. I come to in the elevator, full on, thinking, believing, knowing that they're wheeling me down to the garage to cut my legs off.
Huh.
And I freaked up off the gurney. I'm fighting doctors. I'm fighting nurses. What? The elevator door opens. Security is there. They ended up strapping me to the gurney. So you got to know, if you're allergic to morphine, they probably shouldn't give it to me.
Wow.
Because, I spent the next 2 weeks apologizing to everyone with a white coat and a stethoscope.
I got a question.
But I had no clue who I was. I thought they were trying to saw my legs off.
Wow.
Slambo's got a question.
I got a question. Is there an alternative that they have to give you now? Like
to morphine is there an alternative?
Well, or they just said, what if we just strap him down? It's easier to give him morphine. We can control him if his arms and his legs are tied down.
Wow, yeah.
So, no, I don't know. But there's something else, some of the cocktail that they've come up with right then to knock it out of me. But, I didn't know.
So an allergy to morphine, it just causes you to, like, freak the fuck out?
Yes, sir. Yeah, well, I clearly thought they were trying to kill me.
Yeah.
And so one could offer, well, you're an ex-cop, so you thought everyone was trying to kill you. That could be true, right? Why Rob had a dream that he's an open plate of sushi, who knows? Right? Oh, a sushi bar. Just dive in. They're only abdominal muscles.
Just slice you off, son.
All right? Yeah, just slice it up. Yeah. Make sure you get some, what's the green stuff that they have with sushi?
Wasabi.
Wasabi. Yeah, Slim's got some wasabi on the side. Who knows why I thought they were trying to kill me, right? I went all Kennedy, like, don't roll me into the kitchen. But I thought they were trying to cat me, so I'm like, well, let's go.
Wow.
Come on. Let's do it.
I just so shocked by that because usually when you think allergy, you think oh, you're gonna break out and pimples or like shit like that, or like get a
throat's
rash,
gonna close, or
throat's gonna close. But like what you're saying
working.
is like your allergy for morphine is like it just fucks with your head.
Next level.
It's like drinking bad tequila.
Oh,
Oof.
I've
I've
had
had that. Yeah.
For me,
I've had
it's
that
like drinking
experience.
bad tequila. And what happened, Slim, was that because it was starting to swell my throat, what's the first thing you think? Well, you think someone's trying to choke you,
Oh,
right?
Oh,
Because I
geez.
couldn't breathe, I was like, yeah, they're going to go down. I'm not dying, right? Someone else is paying for this.
Taking them out.
And I
first.
just went nuts.
So,
And,
so it still
and
has
then I
those.
apologize.
So it still has those physical effects, but also has like a psychological effect.
Yeah.
Had to be in me. Yeah,
all
I
of
agree.
it.
Right, because you wake up from a dream. Imagine waking up from any of the worst dreams you've ever had, and there's a bunch of people standing around. You might act out thinking that type of reality is still a part of your dream, or vice versa.
Wow.
And I just saw people in lab jackets, and I'm going, time to go.
Yeah. Bryan, we
You're not
have to wrap
you're not
this up,
cutting my
dude.
legs off. Yeah.
Bryan, we have to wrap it up, dude. I'm sorry. It's always a blast.
I know. No, I so much enjoy being on here. And if you guys get to call in on Saturday, that would be great. And then Rob, I'll just leave it to you to just where you want to throw up the link for that or the GoFundMe for that. But guys, I can't thank you enough for letting me vent. And I will never forget Rob's dream about him being, like I said, an open plate of sushi. I'll take
Bryan,
that with me.
I was
next surgery, Rob.
I was asking Rob earlier. Is it like anybody can call in, or do you have to have like a time slot? Like how does it work?
Well, it's a time slot for most of it, but I have multiple lines coming in, so that if anyone wanted to call in and just hang out for a little bit, give us an idea. And I'm hoping as different show hosts are on, guests of theirs could call in, or fans of theirs could call in, or you know what I mean? Other people could call in. So we'll have 3 phone lines all told, one for the host, the other 2 for whoever else wants to call in and interact and just hopefully have some fun.
Awesome. And where is that going to be again, Bryan?
It's IPMNation.com/thebry.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely work it out. And do you still have some spots open? Like for callers?
Look, I think the only one left open is noon to 1. So we're just going to kind of do it as a general free-for-all. And then I think 9 to 10 Eastern, I was holding open just in case anyone got to the point where they were like, yeah, I just want to call in and say howdy. So I just wanted to leave a couple of free-form. So it'll be noon to 1 and 9 to 10 Eastern just to call in and say howdy.
All right, brother. Have a good one, Bryan. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks so much, guys. I super appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Bryan.
Take care.
All right.